Hi guys, welcome to Vic and Vern Sports Chat. I'm Vic and welcome to Across the Pond. 23 hours late. Look, that was all to do with the Rugby World Cup from yesterday, the draw. Just couldn't fit everything into the shows and we do not want to make them, wishy-washy. So we moved to 23 hours and but it's a big show today. We're getting into a lot of things. We're not going to be introducing any cities or states or countries because time restraints, we are just really tight at the moment. But next week, Wednesday, Canada, baby. It'll all be about Canada. And as you can see, Vic's still got a cough, man. Vic's still got a cough. That's just the way it is. But before we get into it, let me put myself in a box so we have a lot of space and for the show. There you go. It should work. It should work quite nicely like that. There you go. So Vic's in the box. There you go. I'm in the box. Oh, my head's getting out the box. There you go. Look, big weeks coming up in the NFL. Playoffs pictures is really looking tight there. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to give you guys the rundown today. Look, what are we talking about? The NFL, the NBA, college football, college basketball, and a little update on the World Cup that is coming to the good old US of A next year. The draw is on Friday, guys. The draw is on Friday. You want to get hold of us? That's the email on top. As you can see, it's a beautiful Ford Field there in Detroit, Michigan behind us. And so only one place to start, and that is the NFL, baby, the NFL. And there we go. There you go. So the NFL, let's start. Look, it was Thanksgiving last weekend. Great games there. We did a few of them on the channel. We did the Packers game. We did the Chiefs game. We did the Bears game. So lots of them. But good win for the Packers against the Lions, 31-24. Jordan Love was sensational. I thought Jared Goff wasn't bad. The running game from the Lions was good as well. But the Packers found a way to win it, and that helped them in that division. We're going to check out all the divisions afterwards. The Chiefs, what is wrong with the Chiefs? They lose to the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, back-to-back weeks, beating the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. Good win for the Cowboys. I mean, it started terrible. The first play of the game, Dak Prescott threw an interception, but the man came through at the end and the Cowboys won. George Pickens was sensational. CeeDee Lamb was sensational for the Cowboys. Travis Kelce, very quiet there for the Chiefs. Then the Bengals, hey, my boy, Joe Cool's back. Joe Burrows is back, and the Bengals are winning. Are they out of the playoffs? Most probably. Can they destroy a lot of other teams' playoffs hopes? Very much so. So they won 32-14. The Bears thumped the Eagles. The Eagles are in a major disarray at the moment. The 49ers took care of the Browns. Shedeur Sanders had his first starting game there. 26-8, that went down. The Jacksonville Jaguars are marching on nicely. They beat the hapless Tennessee Titans 25-3. The Texans, now that was the big upset of the weekend, I think, beating the Colts 2016. The Saints losing to the Dolphins, that was kind of expected. Then the Falcons losing to the Jets, another little bit of an upset there. Baker and the Buccaneers are back on the road. They won 2017. Big game, fantastic game. Rams against Panthers. Game of the weekend for me. Very exciting. But the Panthers pull off the win there. Bryce Young and the boys. Matthew Stafford, worst game of the season. 3 interceptions. Then the Vikings against the Seahawks. Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks looking good. Shout out to Dominic. I need to get the guy on the channel soon. 26-0. They got blanked, the Vikings. The Bills beat the Steelers. Yeah, there's rumors. A lot of people say it's time for Mike Tomlin to go. Man, you can't fire Mike Tomlin. But the Bulls won that one 26-7. The Raiders, no one cares about the Raiders at the moment. The only good thing about the Raiders is in Las Vegas. So you go to Vegas, you pick up a football game, but the best part is after the game. They lost to the Chargers 31-14. The Broncos against the Commanders. What a game that was. That went into overtime, was 2020. Broncos got the ball first, went down the field, scored a touchdown with the new overtime rules, meaning the Commanders also got the ball. They went down the field, scored a touchdown, and then they doinked the kick and they missed it. So they lost 27-26. So the Broncos still in the hunt for that number 1 spot. And then, of course, boys and girls, the Patriots are back. The dynasty that is the New England Patriots. We got the right coach, we got the right quarterback. That means dynasty, boys. The Patriots are back. We beat the Giants 33-15. That was week 13 review. Let's have a look at all the standings at the moment. We'll start in the AFC East, of course, with my Patriots. 11-2, the best team in football, best team in the NFL, only team to have 11 wins. Ahead of the Bills, look, 13 games in the book, 4 games to go. Patriots have a bye this weekend, so the Bills can close the gap to within 2. Dolphins still in a hunt, 4 games to go. They're going to have to must probably win all 4 and get very, very lucky. The Jets are done, as they are every season since I've been on this bloody planet. The Jets are done. I can't pick that up right now. There you go. I'm sorry about that. Can't pick that up right now. The wife calls you in the middle of the show, but you actually, you got to pick it up. It's the wife. I am live at the moment. How can I help you? Well done. See you later. Bye-bye. You got to pick up a phone when the wife calls, because you know what they say: happy wife, happy life. You don't do that. You're sleeping on the balcony or under the stairs or something like that. You don't want that in Switzerland right now. It's bloody cold. So that's the situation in the AFC East. Let's move to the AFC North. The Ravens still on top. Well, no, back on top after a terrible start to the season with the Steelers. That is not a good division at the moment. The Browns are definitely out of it. I'm not counting out the Bengals to win this division. I'm telling you now. The Cincinnati Bengals, they got Joe Burrows back, man. They got Jamar Chase. They got Higgy. They got a lot of weapons. So this is a race we need to keep watching. Then we move to the South, the AFC South. Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, both playoff bound at the moment. Texans are in the hunt. I don't even mention the last team. They're so terrible, the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, we could get 3 teams making the playoff out of the South. Then we have a look at the West, how the West was won. The Denver Broncos, second best team in the AFC with 10-2. Los Angeles Chargers. Kansas City are in major trouble. Kansas City are in trouble. They better start winning something. They might have to win out because they've played 12. There's 5 games to go. They must probably have to go 5-0 if they want to make the playoffs. I don't think 10-7, could that be enough? I doubt it. Raiders, like I said, only good thing about the Raiders is they're in Vegas. Then we go into the NFC East, and your reigning champion, Philadelphia Eagles, 8-4, still on top there, but the Dallas Cowboys are coming, baby. The Dallas Cowboys are coming, and they got to be careful. The other 2 teams are irrelevant. If you're a Commanders fan or if you're a Giants fan, choose another team to support during the playoffs and see you next year. In the NFC North, the Chicago Bears. Now that is one of the, other than the Patriots, who's the biggest surprise team of the year, I think the Bears have surprised a lot of people. They're out there, but it's a tight race there in the North, man. You got the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions. That's going to go down to the wire. That draw from the Packers could be decisive at the end. In the South, the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers are going to fight it out for that one. I can't see the Atlanta Falcons getting into a playoff hunt. The New Orleans Saints, the Saints don't go marching on, man. Their march is done, baby. They are over and done with. The Saints are finished for this season, planned for next season. I love the Saints. New Orleans, one of my favorite cities in the US, man. And then in the West, in the NFC West, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. What are they doing to us? 49ers on a bye this week. So the Seahawks and the Rams could forge ahead and get a little bit of a jump out them. Cardinals are done. But 3 teams, I think all these 3 teams are going to make the playoffs because I think they'll get enough wins. I think all of them will win at least another 2 games to get to 11. And I think if you get to 11 wins, you're going to make the playoffs. Me, how am I doing? A little bit of fever, a little bit of thing, but you push on, man. Only babies moan about shit, man. You get on with it. Let's have a look at the playoff hunt. Let's have a look. So at the moment, this would be the situation. Let's have a look there, In the AFC, the Patriots would have a bye. And in the NFC, the Bears would have a bye. The Broncos would play the Bills. The Jacksonville Jaguars would play the Colts. The Ravens and the Chargers would go. The Rams would take on the 49ers. That would be a big one. Eagles, Packers, Buccaneers, Seahawks. Nice matches. Who could still upset these 7 teams of each division, or 14 teams? Let's have a look what's in the bubble. The bubble's going to go right above my head here. Look, Texas is in there. Steelers are still in the bubble. The Chiefs, Lions, Cowboys, Panthers. It's going to be very interesting. A lot of big teams are going to lose out. The problem is, if you are a Ravens fan in your division, if you do not win the division, if the Steelers win the division, you're out of the playoffs. That's the problem. There's a lot of things, because the way it works is the 4 winners of each division, they are definitely in the playoffs, and they are ranked 1 to 4, and then you have 3 wildcard teams. So it is not looking that great at the moment for the Chiefs, I can tell you that, and the Cowboys, America's team. So let's take the bubble away. Let's take that away. Then let's move on to next week. And here we go. Start off with that. The Cowboys will take on the Lions. Now, that is going to have a big playoff implications, because one of the teams obviously going to lose unless they draw again. But that's going to hurt somebody. The Cedar Hawks instead of the Seahawks, sorry about that. They're going to beat the Falcons, not a problem. The Bills and the Bengals, now that's a tough one, because the Bengals are coming. If they beat the Bills, which I hope they do, because then my Patriots are going to have that number 1 spot in the AFC East. Browns, Titans, nobody cares. Commanders, Vikings, I don't think anybody cares. Dolphins, Jets, more tragic football. Saints, Buccaneers will win that one. Then a big one, the Colts against the Jags. Going to be a big, interesting game. Then we move on. Steelers, Ravens, what a matchup. Must probably do that one live. That is going to be a monster game, because the winner of that game will be 1 game ahead in the division. So, and that is a grudge match. That is, come on, man. That is like prime George Foreman, Muhammad Ali fighting here, man. Broncos, Raiders. Broncos will win that one. Bears, Packers, another one. Another one that is like Joe Louis against George Foreman or somebody like that. Or, let's go into the middleweight class, man. That is more like Roberto Duran against Sugar Ray Leonard or Marvin Hagler. The Bears against the Packers. Rams should take care of the Cardinals. Texans, Chiefs. I believe if the Chiefs lose this, playoffs is done. Be the first time ever Patrick Mahomes doesn't make the playoffs. Eagles, Chargers, another big game coming up. And then, of course, the last 4 teams on a bye are the Patriots, Giants, 49ers, and Panthers. Damn, I'm rattling this down good today, man. Then let's have a look a little bit at the statistics in the NFL. And we'll talk a little bit about the MVP race. Let's start with the passing. And on top of the passing statistics, yes, baby, the dynasty. That is Drake May and the Patriots. 3,412 yards, most yards in the NFL. He has 23 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Most touchdowns in the NFL, that is Matthew Stafford with 34 and only 4 interceptions. Let's have a look at the rushing. Jonathan Taylor, 1,282 yards, 15 touchdowns. James Cook doing well. Devon Akane, Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. Check out who else. Derrick Henry, not the greatest season from Derrick Henry, and that is maybe why the Ravens are struggling. Don't forget this man at the bottom there, Christian McCaffrey. He has rushed for 849 yards and 8 touchdowns. Remember the name Christian McCaffrey, because you go into the receiving, he's also at the bottom there, but he's got 806 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. So, yeah. But Jackson Smith and Najee on top there with the most yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, want to see how his injuries going. He's got 9 touchdowns as well. I like him. Jamar Chase, he's going to score a lot more touchdowns till the end of the season and get a lot of yards because his boy Joe Burrows is back. Man, Joe, cool. There you go. Then let's have a look at that MVP race. Now I've put it out in this way that it's going to go from who I think is it. There you go. I think Stafford's in the lead of this one. Personally, I think McCaffrey has to be in there. He's a top 10 in receiving and in rushing. But he won't win it because quarterbacks win this award, which I think is a shame. And the young man, Drake May, I think he has a punter's chance, depending on how the rest of the season goes. If you can limit his turnovers and up a little bit the touchdowns, I think he has a shot, but at the moment it does look like Matthew Stafford is the front runner in the MVP race. Let me get rid of that for you guys. So that is your NFL roundup. Wow, that's a big NFL roundup. There we go. Then we move into the NBA, guys and girls. And there were some games last night. I mean, look, if you watch our daily sports update show, we rattled down through all of this. But check it out. I mean, Nuggets doing well. I mean, the NBA this year is very much, you've got the set teams that are in the playoffs and the other teams are just not very good. The big surprise at the bottom there was that the Heat lost to the Mavericks for me. Big surprise the Mavericks are that crappy this year. Pistons, Bucks, another interesting game, 109-113. Rockets doing well. Alpen Sengun carrying the load for them. Can the Clippers start a comeback? I mean, they've got the players to do it. The Spurs are doing well. Yeah, so that is it. But let's have a look at the NBA East. There you go. So, top of the East, the beast in the East is definitely the Detroit Pistons. Ahead of the Raptors, the Knicks, the Heat, the Magic, and the Boston Celtics. They are all in a guaranteed playoff spot at the moment. The play-ins would be Cleveland, Atlanta, Philadelphia 76ers, and Milwaukee Bucks. Which team did I expect to see up there? I think Indiana, but we know their injury situation. We know the Wizards are not good. We know the Nets are not good. We know the Hornets are nothing. I think it's an 11-horse race. I think the Bulls are the only team that can still get up into the top half. I can see the Hawks dropping out. I can see the 70s. Nah, they got Tyrese Maxey. 76ers are not dropping out. Going to be interesting. Look, we all know once the All-Star break comes around and the trade deadline, there's going to be some big movement in the NBA because some teams are going to have to stock up. Then we moved out to the West. And listen here. These men are unbelievable. The Oklahoma City Thunder have lost one game all season. They are 21-1. Lakers in second spot, 15-5. I mean, I think all the way from the Lakers down to the Suns, it's going to be very interesting how that moves around. The Warriors will get better. I have no doubt about that. The Grizzlies, if they can get Jay Moran to think about basketball and not other stupid stuff. Portland, I don't know. The Mavericks, I see the Mavericks and the Clippers still moving up. But it's going to be, the West is more interesting than the East, I think. But for me, I'm still going with the Rockets to win it all. I'm hoping for a Rockets against Miami Heat final. That would really make my heart go boom, 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 boom. I would like that. Then there is a little thing called the NBA Cup. Now, if people don't know what it is, it's been here for a few years now. It's like an in-season tournament that they play. They use regular season games to get into the cup. This is at the moment the quarterfinals. So the Thunder will take on the Suns. The Lakers will take on the Spurs. Should be interesting. All these games, I think, the semifinals get played in Las Vegas. Then the Magic will take on the Heat, and the Raptors will take on the Knicks. So what am I hoping for? What am I hoping for? Hey, Lakers Heat final would be quite nice. I could handle that. Knicks, Lakers, Spurs, Heat. Yeah, we'll see. But that is your NBA Champions Cup there for this season. I think the Lakers are reigning champions, if I'm correct. Not one of my favorite things. Let's have a look at the statistics and the leaders in the NBA. Points per game. Luka Doncic, my dear, the man has got 35.3 points, ahead of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Maxey. 4 players with over 30 points a game. Unbelievable. Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, he is coming. I'm telling you guys, the man is coming. In the assist race, of course, it's the Serbian phenomenon there, Nikola Jokic with 11.1. Then the man from good old Australia, Josh Giddey with 9.2. And Cade Cunningham doing a fantastic season. I mean, for me, he should be in the MVP hunt because what he's done for the Detroit Pistons is fantastic. Luka Doncic with 8.9, not too bad. And old James Harden, the beard, also not doing too bad. In the rebounds, again, it's Nikola Jokic, ahead of Karl Anthony Towns, Ivica Zubac, Jalen Duren, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Then let's have a look who's leading the steals. Dyson Daniels with 2.3 steals again. That's quite impressive. And on the block shots, I think Wemby would be up there if he wasn't injured, but at the moment it's Mr. Huff, J Huff with 2.3 a game, followed by Alex Zar with 2 blocks a game. That is impressive. Anything over 2 blocks a game is quite impressive in my eyes. There you go. Then we did a poll, well, on our channel. I'm going to put it out there right now. Mike, the question was, who is the early MVP front runners? And I can tell you, at the moment, it's Jokic ahead of SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, followed by Luka Doncic, Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell, then the Greek Freak, Maxey, and Wemby. Look, at the moment, I can only say one thing, and I think he is the front runner at the moment, but things can change. Look, you got to look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His team is 21-1. That also plays a big role, in which it shouldn't, but it plays a big role when the NBA decides who the MVP. They also look at the record. I think it's called the most valuable player, meaning what do you do for your team? You can't argue 21-1, huh? You can't argue with 21-1. So that is your NBA roundup for this week. I'm just going to quickly get rid of all that before there you go. Then we move on to the NHL, my friends, to the NHL. That's also picking up. There were a few games last night. I'm not going to get into them because those just the last night's games. But let's have a look at the divisions. And here we go. We'll start out there in the East. And in the Atlantic Division, it is your Tampa Bay Lightning that is out on top, ahead of the Montreal Canadiens, the Ottawa Senators. So the Canadiens not doing too bad. Don't forget, next week, Canada on the show. The Detroit Red Wings, Boston Bruins. And then it starts getting hapless. And I mean, look at the champions are at the bottom of the Atlantic Division. The Florida Panthers. What's wrong in Florida? Have they got a 2-year hangover? 2 titles in a row is enough? Come on, guys. Pick it up, Florida. You wanted a 3-peat, man. Then we go into the Metropolitan Division. That's also in the East. And the Washington Capitals there. Old man Ovechkin still doing it for them. Caps up there on top, ahead of the Hurricanes, the Flyers, and the New Jersey Devils. Pittsburgh still in the hunt. Islanders, Rangers, not so bad. This is still tight. It's still tight if you look at the amount of wins. I mean, the top team has 17 wins. The bottom team has 12. All to play for in the Metropolitan. In the Central Division, and it's the Colorado Avalanche. Obviously, we'll get into them in a second, believe me. The Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, Utah Mammoth not doing bad there as well. St. Louis Blues, Nashville Predators off the pace. What is wrong with you people there? In the Pacific, the Ducks are quacking their way on the top of the table, followed by the Golden Knights, my favorite team there. LA Kings, San Jose Sharks, Verns Kraken, Seattle Kraken, Oilers. Look, only the Flames and the Canucks have dropped off a little bit there. Yeah, Oilers, Kraken. But all to play for, early going. You know, until you get to 82 games, it's going to be a long way. We're about a third into the season, so don't worry. Let's have a look at the top scorers in the NHL. And of course, that's what I said. Talk about the Avalanche. Nathan MacKinnon, the man is mustard, man. He has 46 points already on the scoring sheet. How do we break that down? Well, he has 22 goals this season. Let's have a look at some of the other top stars. Leon Draisaitl there at the bottom with 15. I think he'll pick up still. Sid the Kid Crosby still going strong there. Then on the assists, Macklin Celebrini with the most assists in the lead, followed by Connor McDavid with 25. But McKinnon also has 24 assists. Look, that first block there from the Avalanche is unbelievable. I call them the super block at the moment. And hey, look, we don't want to forget our goalkeepers. Best goalkeeper, the best saving record in the NHL is Jesper Wallstedt or Wallstadt. Fantastic. He saves 94.4% of all his shots on goal. So doing a great job there. But I want to talk about this man, Nathan MacKinnon. For me, going to win the Hart Trophy, MVP of the season. I mean, the numbers the man is putting up is phenomenal. And you got to have a look at the Avalanche as the favorite to win it this year. But we do know that in the NHL, when the playoffs starts, it all starts from zero again. So that is Nathan MacKinnon. Then I got to move on because I got to do the DEFCON Rugby show with Vern as well afterwards. Let's have a quick look at the college rankings there in football. Listen here, Sunday, the 7th of December. That's a date you have to put in your calendar, because that's when the committee, the NCAA committee, will tell us exactly which 12 teams are making the college football playoffs this year. But that's the standings at the moment. And they are ranked also by this committee. There you go. At the moment, this is what they're coming up with, but it could all change on the weekend if somebody loses us up. Ohio State Buckeyes, Indiana Hoosiers, Texas A&M Aggies, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. They've got them in fourth. Surprising. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Monday. We'll know more about it next week on the DEF CON Rugby on the ATP across the pond. We'll know exactly who's in the playoffs, and we can start preparing for some good stuff. Last but not least, let's have a quick look at the college basketball. We'll start with the ladies, and of course UConn's on top. That's the rankings, followed by Texas, the South Carolina Gamecocks, the UCLA Bruins, the LSU Tigers, the Michigan Wolverines, Maryland, TCU, Oklahoma Sooners, North Carolina, the Tar Heels there in 11th, Baylor in 14th, and the USC Trojans in 16th. Only the top 16. There you go. That's the ladies' rankings. And we'll get into the men's rankings. Purdue still out on top, ahead of Arizona, Michigan, the Blue Devils from Duke, the Yukon Huskies, Louisville Cardinals, Michigan State Wolverines. That could be interesting. Michigan State and Michigan. Interesting. Houston still up there. Gonzaga doing well. Alabama Crimson Tide in 12th. North Carolina Tar Heels, baby. You better start playing better. They are in 16th. Guys, that's kind of the show for today. So let me go back to the, how do you say, there you go. Put myself take myself out the box quickly. Here we go. Vic's out the box, back in full screen. There you go. Check us out next Wednesday. We'll be back at normal time. Wednesday, 1700 Central European time. And then we'll be introducing Canada. What can I tell you? Let's get the black book out. I can tell you we'll be talking about the Raptors and the Blue Jays, obviously. And then, of course, what's Canada without hockey, man? It is the biggest hockey nation in the world. We'll be talking about the Maple Leafs, Canadians, Canucks, Senators, Oilers, Flames, and the Winnipeg Jets. We'll be looking at some beautiful cities there in Canada. I mean, you've got Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver, Quebec, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto. Beautiful places like Banff, Vancouver Island, St. Catharines at the Lake, Niagara Falls. All be in the channel. We'll tell you information on all the teams that are there. So join us for Canada, next week. And you guys have a wonderful week. Big US sports this weekend. NFL tonight, first game, Lions against Cowboys. I'm not going to do that one. Am I going to do that one live? I don't know yet. I might do that one live. I might talk myself into it. Guys, you have a wonderful day. Enjoy. Join me soon. And if you want to join some rugby, join us in 30 minutes for the rugby. Guys, have a good one. Ciao, ciao.